What's going on, Stepper? So today, let's discuss the dilemma that you're going to face while you are building a team. Now, I know this dilemma because I've been in the process for the last couple years of building a team myself, right? So for the actual real estate business that I operate, and also 4 steps to success. So both of these, this is going to be just really a transparent conversation, all right? Now, this being said, within both of those realms, you're going to face the same dilemma. So on this first edition of Building a Team, we'll discuss what that dilemma is. Now, this dilemma that you are going to face is how to compensate your team members. Now, how are you going to pay them, right? So when you are thinking about paying your team members, there's really 3 ways that you can pay your team members. The first one is a salary concept. So, they get paid a certain amount per year and they're working a certain schedule, and it doesn't have to be just per year. It can be per couple of months or, per quarter, whatever you make that time period is. And they also get paid a set period or a set amount. So that's the first one. The next one is being paid by the hour, right? So they're just getting paid by the hour. They're more like a contract for hire type of situation. However many hours they spend on this, then that's how many hours they get paid, basically, right? Now, the last one you have is being paid by equity, right? So basically, whatever they bring in or whatever you bring in, they get a split of that, right? So no matter how much work has been put in, they get the same split, which whether it be 30%, 10%, 50%, whatever you have it worked out as, that's the third one, all right? Now, out of these 3, let's go through them one by one, all right? Now, I have some experience with 2 of them, okay? Now, I'll tell you the pros and cons with the 2 I have, and I'll actually tell you at the end which one I think is the best and the one that I aim to use and aim to utilize in, throughout the business moving forward. Now, this is going to be just a transparent conversation. It's not planned, so let's just talk, all right? Now, the first one that we have is being paid by the hour. Now, being paid by the hour is really one of the most common concepts, right? That's one of the most common concepts because it's useful for both the employee or the team member and also the owner or whatever you want to call them, the manager, whatever. So it's useful for both parties because it doesn't really bond you guys for a long period of time, and also they get paid, right? So the person gets paid and it doesn't bond you for a long period of time. You can leave when you want without any repercussions, basically. Now, this being said, it's a good thing, but at the same time, when you look at it from a business, when you're building a business, it's really the lowest when it comes to what you look for in your team members. Now, we're going to stay mainly on the hourly concept here. This is the first edition, and I'm excited for this edition, all right? Now, it's really being transparent here. The reason why when you're paying someone by the hour, it's the bottom of what you're kind of looking for from a team member aspect is because they don't view it as a team, right? They view it as long as I'm getting paid, then that's how long I'm helping you. And that is the reality of the situation. Now, that's the reality of all of the situations, right? But the difference is when you're getting paid by the hour, it's like you can't help but wonder, even as an owner, does your mind state just click off even after the hours have passed? Now, you can build up to where it seems like, that's not the case. And also there's another step to that, but usually when the hourly employee is working, they're looking at the clock, right? So when you're looking at the clock, you're not focused on the task at hand. You're focused on when does this task at hand end, or when am I going to be getting paid more? That's the reality of a lot of paid by hour employees when you really look at the situation. Now, that being said, the good thing about it is, like I said, you break up when you want, but the bad thing about it is when it comes to how involved they are with making the vision move forward, right? When you look at an hourly employee, how involved do they feel with the overall vision? That's what you have to ask yourself as an owner. Are you making your hourly employee, do they feel like they are a part of the team? Not only a part, do they feel like they are essential to the vision moving forward? And do you as a team member, do you feel like you are benefiting from the overall vision of the manager or the employee or the owner, whether you are actually benefiting from their vision? Is it not just their vision? Is it all of your vision? And is everyone able to live their journey of success through this one vision? Now, that is the biggest thing that you're going to have to overcome as an hourly employee, but also you can work yourself out of hourly employee stage to the next stage, all right? Now, in my opinion, the next stage, and also when it comes to something I've done myself is an equity split. Now, I can't even say that that's fully the next stage, guys. Like, I'm thinking this out here. It's not really fully the next stage. It really can be just up there with the salary component, right? Now, but when it comes to an equity split, now remember, I said I did 2 out of 3. So I did the hourly and then the equity split. The equity split is cool, guys, but what comes with the equity split, I'm gonna tell you the good part. Now, the good part of an equity split is that, like I said, with the hourly employee, now this team member feels more involved with the overall vision, right? And the reason that they feel more involved with the overall vision is because what they bring in, they actually get a piece of. So what you bring in, they get a piece of as well, right? So what you bring in, they're getting a piece of, and that is the good part about it. Now, as an owner, as you have a team member with the equity split, you get to feel like they are more involved with the overall vision. If they feel more involved with the overall vision, that they're more likely to put their best foot forward and actually invest in the time and energy that it takes to make the vision come to life. Now, that is the good part, right? Now, here's the bad part of equity split. And this is why I said I can't really say it's the next stage, because you have really 2 things, right? So the first thing is you have to be very, very aware of how much is enough for there not to be caused any ambivalent feelings, right? So any feelings of either on the team member side that they feel like, man, I should be getting paid more for the amount of work that I'm putting in, or even on the owner side that they should be putting in more work for the amount of money that I'm giving them. So this is on both sides. You really want to have to manage and see what's the perfect amount, okay? On the flip side of things, and this is really even bigger, because when it comes to, depending on how you have your equity position, like what position you have in the equity compensation, depending on which role you have there, you have to ask yourself, and they have to be honest with themselves, can they stay motivated without getting any compensation, right? Because if they're getting paid based on what they kill, based on what they bring in, you have to be very cognizant of, can they stay motivated, right? So can they stay motivated for this specific period of time? Now, that's going to be a pro or a con depending on the person. But as an actual owner, you as the owner, you have to be very cognizant when it comes to when you have somebody in an equity position. When they do generate income, you have to be cognizant of, is it coming from you or is it coming from them, right? So as an owner, that ambivalent feeling aspect of it, you want to make sure that the person you have in an equity position, that they are eating what they kill, not eating what you kill. Because then you have to ask yourself, and again, this is the first edition of building a team, but we're going to touch on this more in a different episode. But then you have to ask yourself, are you the one that's driving the team forward, right? And you are going to be the one like steering the ship for the aspect, but you don't want to be the one driving the whole boat, right? You have to have other people work in their position that's equally help move the boat, instead of you moving the boat and then everybody's benefiting from your moving of the boat, all right? Like, that's basically what it is, right? So that being said, guys, you really just have to be cognizant of that in your equity position, because that is something that can be great if everybody's helping, if it's a symbiotic relationship, right? If it's mutually beneficial, if everybody's bringing something to the party, basically. Now, the next thing that you have is salary. Now, when it comes to the salary aspect of things, the salary aspect of things is basically when you think about teachers, when you think about people at corporations, CEOs, when you think about these people, these are salaries, right? So they're getting paid maybe $100,000 for 12 months, and they're working 50 hours or 40 hours a week, and that's basically the set position. But then maybe sometimes they have to come in, but then sometimes they have bonuses in their salary. So when you're looking at athletes, right, they have bonuses in their salaries. When you're looking at like these type of positions, right? So a lot of positions have salaries, is what I'm getting over to you, right? So the point I'm trying to convey here, that a salary is a set amount of money for a set period of time, and there are certain stipulations that you can benefit more from the contract. All right. Now, this being said, this is something that I have not experienced yet, okay? But these are what I perceive the pros and cons to be when it comes to having a salary team member. Now, the first aspect of a pro when you have a salary team member is that everybody's on the same page. You know what to expect, right? So ideally, you know what to expect. Remember, from that hourly employee, so that hourly employee or that hourly team member, they are in a position where they've worked, right? You know what to expect for them when it comes to quality of work. You know, they know what to expect from you as far as, you know, the vision, and also that they can be compensated, you know, when they're supposed to be compensated. That being said, everything works out. So now, instead of them being hourly, maybe you put them on salary. And the benefit of them being on salary is that now they feel more involved with the vision, so they don't have to think about, wait, am I going to get hired again? Am I going to be, you know, hired? Am I going to be here next week? So now they can focus on purely the work itself. And this, as an owner, makes you feel like you have somebody really involved with the vision versus having somebody only involved with the pay, right? Because basically, when you have an hourly person, they're like a mercenary or a pawn on a chessboard, depending on how you think. When you think like that, though, there's somebody that you just, you know, have out there versus somebody that's either in an equity or a salary position. There's somebody that, you know, they're a chess, they're a rook, or they're a horse or a different piece of power on the chessboard. You can trust them a little more. And we'll get into all of these different aspects of building a team as the, you know, season or as the series progresses. Now, the cons when it comes to having a salary person. What I imagine the cons to be, as a team member, being transparent with you, you have to be aware of this. As a salary team member, you have to be aware that sometimes you may be asked to do a little bit more than what you are actually on paper to do, right? Because now, as an owner, they feel that you are more involved, right? They feel like you are actually involved with the vision. You're not just here for the money itself. That being said, they want you to display this. They expect you to display this now. Like, it's more of an expectation. It's more like, I'm paying you this amount because when the hours are out, I expect almost for you to still be thinking about the vision, right? Just because you're clocked out, I still want your vision. I still want the vision on your mind. So this is equivalent to if you're a teacher and you still have to go home and grade papers. Just because you're clocked out of work, you still have to go home and grade papers. So the vision is still on your mind. Or if you're an athlete, right? You still have to practice outside of practice. You still have to play the game outside of actually the facility itself. You still have to make sure you're eating right, your body's healthy, all of these things. So you're still, basically, it's a lifestyle, is what I'm getting at. It's more of a lifestyle now than just the actually hourly payment. No Walmart employee is thinking about how to stock shelves better when they leave, right? Nobody working at Enterprise as a car detailer is thinking about how to clean a car better when they actually leave. Not many people, right? And if you are, then that's great, because your mindset is already above that. It's already above that of a bottom tier level. This is how you get better. This is how you get better, guys. It's a testament, honestly. So this being said, I feel that it's a con because you are going to have more expected of you. But you can also flip that to a positive, right? Because then maybe you can move on to equity or something else. But as an actual owner, the con of having somebody that's going to be on salary is that now they may feel more entitled, unfortunately. And that'll be very unfortunate, right? Because that's something that it can grow into something great, but now that they're on title or that they are on salary, they may feel like, hey, I'm getting paid no matter what I do, right? This contract, I got this contract, no matter what I do, I'm getting paid. This is the only aspect. So what I'm basically explaining to you is that they may be unwilling to grow. And it kind of goes back to also the equity split, right? If you have somebody in an equity position and you as the owner, you begin to kind of get a little bit ambivalent, like, man, I feel like they maybe can grow more, but then somebody in an equity position may feel like, man, I'm already doing this, I don't need to grow more, I'm already good right here. So this being said, guys, you have to find a balance here. Now, this is where we're going to tie it all in. Now, in this current position in life, as I said, I've been on this mission with building a team on both sides of the spectrum, being entertainment and also real estate. So this being said, I noticed and I've been able to thankfully pick up a contrast between a few of them and also think out a contrast being with the salary position. So I really feel like a mergence of all of them, but honestly, I feel like the best, it's going to be a merge, but leaning very heavily towards the salary position. I feel like with the salary position, you're able to have team members that really buy into the team aspect, right? And also you as a owner, you're gonna feel like these are not just mercenaries, right? Because mercenaries, they're not there when times are bad. And not even just when times are bad, but when times are rocky or windy, just like today. They're not there. And the reason they aren't there is because they have no stake, right? To them, it's like, when are you getting paid again? And maybe that may not be fully true, but also as an owner, you can't help but think that because you've been no more than a checkbook to them. So you have to be really very cognizant of the relationships that you are developing. And also, once you become aware of it, don't be afraid to pivot, and you can still maybe pivot with the same relationships, but pivot within the realms of the relationship, okay? So I feel like salary is the best, not only just for, like, depends on what position, right? Because you have some positions that are going to be better for mercenaries, right? So some positions, it may be better for you to work just for one project or for one thing, and maybe grow for a grow to another level of another, whatever that service has to offer, whatever that relationship has to offer. But with some positions, it's going to be best for you to put them as a salary because they can know what to expect. They're not focused on getting paid. And that's something that I firmly believe in. Focus on the check. Get the check first. That way you're not actually thinking about how I'm going to eat. When you're not focused on how you're going to eat, your mind can actually grow beyond just your next meal, all right? So that being said, guys, get whoever deserves to be on a salary or something like that, get that taken care of. And if you got somebody that's really willing to, go out there and grind with you, put the work in with you, actually come from the bottom up with you, if you have somebody like that, for one, you have to be tested. They got to be tested. They got to be tested to see if they actually can do that. But if they can, then that's somebody that can be in an equity position. And that equity position will be great, but just, remember everything I've already said about the equity position, all right? Now, guys, this has been really great to discuss this with you because I know as the brand grows and as, the business grows from both ends, it really is going to be a testament to how I play these team factors, right? How I build this team. And you really have to be cognizant of how you spend your time and who you give your time to, because you're sharing more than time, you're sharing energy as well. And energy is like rubs off on you, right? You're just like the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So you really have to just be aware of these facts. All of this being said, guys, this is a very important one. Stay tuned for the next edition because we're not done with this one. All right, until next time though, as always, faithfully you understand about the compensation aspect, and we'll get to step into the next one.